Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down. We don't have to go a while. Welcome to my house, play that music too loud. Show me what you do now. We don't have to go a while.
Alright. Welcome, Nova Nation, to the first annual installment of Second Take with Zach Ron and John Wiener. I'm Libby Melbourne and have the pleasure of moderating these two. And with that, we'll jump right in. And we're going to start with a topic close to home, the Nova Nation. Is this the year that our basketball team makes it past the second round? What do you boys think?
This is the year they're going to do it. And I'm going to tell you why. You listening to me?
I'm listening.
Bridges, freshman talent, playing out of his mind. For a freshman, he's playing really freaking well. Now, we have a lot more though, because Archie Diacono, he's on fire. And you know I love me my Archie Diacono, don't you?
Who doesn't?
So let's put it this way. The past 2 years, they've made it into the tournament. It's been very disappointing. You get 1 year, out very quickly. UConn. I love UConn, but they're no Villanova. Last year, they're on the second round as a 1 seed. That's ridiculous. But this year, I think they're going to get that 1 seed, and they're actually going to earn it. Zach, your thoughts?
Yeah, so Villanova just made a jump to number 3 in the AP poll this year, which is the highest they've been all year. They're behind UNC and Oklahoma. UNC just lost this past week, which is the number 2 team. And we all know what happened when we played Oklahoma. They kind of crapped on us at Pearl Harbor. So with UNC losing, if we beat Providence this weekend, I think we're going to jump UNC and be the number 2 team in the nation, which is pretty ridiculous. There also this year, there's no clear-cut number 1 in the nation.
Nobody's
like there has
undefeated.
been. That's true. Like there has been in past years, like Kentucky or Duke. There's clear-cut top-tier teams. So with that being said, anyone can make it to the Final Four this year. That's pretty decent. Villanova basketball, Josh Hart is having an MVP season this year. He's playing out of his mind. And I agree with what you said about Mikal Bridges. He actually played against my high school team, so I really have a strong bond with Mikal Bridges. He dunked on us. Shout out to Great Valley High School if you're watching, and I know you are. We love our Mikal Bridges. So back to Josh Hart. He's going to win. Well, he was nominated as a Jerry West Award finalist, which means he's one of the top 10 shooting guards in the nation. So that's a huge thing for Villanova. He's playing out of his mind. The only thing is we're starting to have a little bit of an injury problem creeping up. Ochefu suffered a concussion 2 games ago, and he had to stay out of the game against St. John's. We were able to beat St. John's, although it looked kind of sloppy, and we just beat Creighton tonight. We kind of blew Creighton out of the water because they aren't really a tall team. So Ochefu is our best player, I think. So we really need him to get healthy. Chef, get healthy. That's what I want to say.
All right. Solid final note there. We are going to shift gears a little bit by shifting sports to one of your favorites, John, and also one of mine. This weekend, best time of the year, it's Super Bowl Sunday. So, the question for you two is, who would you rather have on your team, Cam or Peyton?
So first of all, we have to disagree with you. This is not the best time of the year because our teams are never in the Super Bowl. But I will say, Zachary Ron, that if I am putting together a football team right now, I'm tossing Peyton Manning to the side and taking Cam Newton.
How dare you?
The numbers do not lie. 35 touchdowns this season to 10 interceptions. Are you kidding me? That blows away every single Jets statistic in the whole franchise history. Big Jets fan. 4,000 passing yards roughly, give or take 100 or 200. But bear in mind that Cam Newton does a lot on his feet. Peyton Manning, what has he done this year? I think he led the league in interceptions, did he not? Horrible.
He throws ducks.
He throws ducks like a mother goose, and he's past his prime. He's old. I don't want him on my team and that big forehead. Listen, I hope the Broncos win the Super Bowl just so Peyton will retire and we don't have to see that pitiful performance on the field anymore.
Oh my God. I'm from Indiana for the viewers'
Libby's a
sake,
big
so
Peyton
I am
fan.
a huge Peyton fan.
Was he good in his prime? Of course. Was he even good last year? Yeah, he was pretty good. He pushed it too far. I think he's done.
So the way I took this question was a little bit differently. I was thinking more in his prime or even at the start of their career, who would you rather take? And with that being said, I don't think it's fair quite yet to put Cam Newton on Peyton Manning's level. Peyton Manning is one of the best quarterbacks that's ever played the game. Cam Newton, this is his third year. So, yeah, he puts up crazy numbers, but these running guys, you don't know how durable they're going to be. Peyton Manning has by far been one of the best quarterbacks. He's led teams to the Super Bowl. The only thing is his postseason has kind of been an indictment on him. He has only won one Super Bowl. He's made it a couple times, but the media's kind of portraying him as someone who chokes in the postseason. So I'm with you. I want Peyton to finish out on top. I don't know if that's going to happen because of how good the Panthers are, but if I was to take one quarterback at the start of their career, it would be Peyton Manning.
Now, let's think about that. Peyton Manning has one Super Bowl in his very lengthy career.
Yeah.
Cam Newton is probably going to get one on Sunday. And God only knows how many more he's going to rack up after that. He's a big man. He's like 6'6", and I don't know how many pounds he is, but he's a big man.
He is. So who are you taking on Sunday? Are we doing that now?
All right.
Who
Let's
you
get
want to
to
win
it.
it all?
Here's what I hope happens. I am hoping for Broncos.
To ride off in the sunset.
Yeah.
Like Broncos do.
I don't know what the score is going to be, but I want the Broncos to win by at least a field goal. I don't want them to win by like a stupid
So you're taking the
2-point
Broncos?
conversion. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos.
Okay. Broncos have a great defense.
They do. It's going to be a battle of the defenses.
It is. It is.
Usually is.
But with that being said, the Panthers are the better team this year. I really want Peyton to finish on top, but it's not going to happen.
I think that's what we all want, and I agree with you. It's not going to happen because if it comes down to a battle of the defenses and Denver and Carolina cancel out in that regard, the Carolina offense I think is a lot better.
Yeah, but look at the last couple games in the playoffs. Carolina has blown out teams, or at least started to blow out, and then the Seahawks started to come back, and people started to come back. But against the Cardinals, they just started racking on points, going for 2-point conversions after they're already up by 25 points.
Yep.
The Carolina Panthers are trying to make a point that they're the best team in the NFL. Denver Broncos, on the other hand, are squeaking through. Now they did play Tom Brady, but they're just kind of barely beating their opponent. And Cam Newton is probably the most athletic quarterback since Michael Vick.
Probably.
He might even be more
I'm
athletic.
sure he's more athletic than him at this point, yeah.
And the thing that's amazing with him is his top guy, Kelvin Benjamin, has been out this whole year.
Yeah, he's throwing a no
He has no
receivers.
weapons.
Ted Ginn Jr.
Ted Ginn Jr.
I don't like.
Greg Olsen is a good tight end.
He is. He's a very good tight end.
But they don't have their top guy, the explosive Kelvin Benjamin.
No.
But they still look just as explosive.
They do, but here's the thing that I think makes them so explosive. They go out there and they have a good time. They're not playing football to win. They're playing to have a good time.
That's the other thing. People don't like Cam Newton because of his personality.
Why? He's giving footballs to little girls in the stands. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I love it.
my dad is one of those guys that just can't stand Cam Newton. He thinks
Really?
he's full of himself.
Wow.
But I don't know. I think it's fun to watch. I think people just aren't used to this kind of personality in a quarterback. They're too used to quarterbacks that have a stick up their butt, that don't want to say anything wrong, you know, that just want to, they're all team. And Cam is finally, he's got a wide receiver cornerback personality in a quarterback's body. If that makes sense.
It does.
And Peyton throws ducks, and it's going to go right to Luke Kuechly for
Yeah,
a
Luke
touchdown.
Kuechly has those pick
I think
sixes
Luke
up because
Kuechly. I think Luke Kuechly is the best player on the Panthers. Everyone talks about Cam, but it's the defense that makes them so good. I think Luke Kuechly is what is the face of the Panthers.
I don't. He's good. He's a good player. That's bold. Cam Newton's the face of the Panthers. To say otherwise is simply ignorant.
Yeah, but it's interesting because these are the two top defenses, so it shows how defenses win championships.
Yeah.
Chip Kelly, if you're watching, and I know you are, listen to that. Defenses win championships. That's why you're the hell out of Philadelphia and you're in San Francisco.
Todd
Thank
Bowles,
God.
if you're watching, keep doing what you're doing.
No, I think you both make very, very valid points. And personally speaking, unbiased, maybe a little biased, I think that I think Cam Newton is somebody to watch. He's definitely the next era of people like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. But I think where you can't underestimate Peyton Manning in this particular game, no matter if he's choked or not in the past, he crossed one bridge that has followed him throughout his entire season. That is beating Tom Brady in the game that determines who goes to the Super Bowl. And he did it.
This is true.
All those
And
Brady
now-
fans can't stand Peyton Manning. I think it's hilarious.
And everyone else can't stand Brady.
Yeah.
Especially Indiana. And he has one more thing to do if he's going to retire. He has one more adversary to conquer, and that is winning another Super Bowl. Because, yes, he's only won one in his career, and I think he deserves another one. And I would like to see him go out with a win on the 50th
I think the
Bowl.
world would like to see Peyton Manning, except for people in New England, would like to see Peyton Manning go out
In
on
Carolina.
top. And yes, Cam has been elite this year, but it's not fair to consider him someone who's been elite over their entire career.
Peyton has a job to do, and I don't think he should be underestimated to get that job done.
I agree. So quarterbacks to watch: Cam Newton and Bryce Petty.
Y'all are good. You should definitely pursue that sports journalism career you were planning on. Finally, we have a special guest on the line, a friend of Zach's named Billy Reardon.
Yeah, Billy is a former high school baseball superstar. He is an aspiring sports journalist, only has 9 fingers, but he's one of my best friends from back home, and I thought who better to have on for our first show than Billy Reardon.
I can't think of anyone.
Bill, how you doing?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. How you guys doing?
So, Bill just got a really cool internship, and it's with the Philadelphia Soul. Now, I know John knows about the Philadelphia Soul
I know about the
because
Soul.
you know who their owner is? It's John Bon Jovi.
Yep.
Big Jersey guy.
Big Jersey
John's
boy.
a big Jersey
John
guy.
Bon Jovi.
So, and
Why
Ron,
he bought the Soul, just for the record,
and Ron Jaworski's
is
another.
beyond me.
And Ron Jaworski's another owner. So, Bill, being an employee of the Soul, I want to know how they're going to do this year.
As far as the Soul goes for the season, they had a pretty big tryout the other day. Last Saturday, they had about 300 players attempt to walk on. So they had a pretty big tryout. Apparently there was a couple guys who may actually be able to make the roster. So that's pretty cool. And they also recently signed 2 pretty key guys on defense. One being...
All right, Billy, that's enough arena football for the rest of my life, honestly. You two are very big Eagles fans, you
That's
and
right.
Zach.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah, go Birds. The Birds are back. They recently hired Doug Peterson. That was a bit of an interesting hire.
Yeah, Chip Kelly's out of town.
Chip Kelly's
Thank
out of
God.
town. I think he deserved another year, but I'm not an Eagles fan. I don't understand the pain. Billy, talk to me about the Eagles.
I think we were all sort of surprised at how the process went. And then ultimately them signing Doug Peterson because it was strange that they fired Chip Kelly so early, a game before the end of the season, and then it seemed like they didn't really get the jump on the coaching search that they wanted, and they ended up having to sign a guy who wasn't interviewed by anyone else. So it was kind of like, I don't know if they necessarily got the guy they wanted. They're never going to tell you whether he was the guy from the beginning. Well, they're going to say he was the guy from the beginning, but they won't tell you if he wasn't. and if I had to speculate, I'd say that he probably wasn't the guy from the very beginning. Because if he was, then they probably would have just signed him right away or hired him right away instead of going and interviewing so many other people. But the hires that they've made since then, for the offensive coordinator from San Diego, Frank Reich, he's a pretty good offensive coordinator to have. He's had Phillip Rivers down there, and they always perform pretty well on the offensive side of the ball down in San Diego. So definitely a good addition. And then Jim Schwartz is definitely the one addition that I'm really looking forward to because of the possibility of moving away from the 3-4 defense and back to the 4-3. I feel like our linebackers and linemen are more suited for a 4-3 than a 3-4. And Billy Davis's defense just wasn't working by the end of the year. Couldn't stop the run for years and years. So hopefully the switch at coach will come with a switch in scheme as well.
Yeah, Bill, it was kind of interesting how the Eagles hired Doug Peterson so fast. It might be like kind of trying to get back to the Andy Reid era of things when we went to, NFC Championship after NFC Championship, but never quite getting that Super Bowl. But it's interesting when they hired him so fast with names out there like Sean McDermott, defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. I think he would be a great head coach. And I wanted to see him come in.
Yeah, it was a weak year for coaching hires.
It was.
I think there were more names out there that could have been explored.
John Gruden. With Sean McDermott being mentioned, the Carolina Panthers, Bill, I want to know who you got on Sunday. What's your Super Bowl pick?
Everyone's leaning towards Carolina, and so am I. So just to get it started, I'm going to pick Carolina, but I do think that the big thing that we have to watch in this game is going to be the defensive line for the Broncos, who wreaked havoc on Tom Brady, one of the best to ever do it. Can they contain Cam Newton? And on the flip side, does Cam Newton have the escapability to get away from that pass rush and be able to throw into that secondary that's a pretty good secondary? So I think the biggest matchup is going to be the defense of the Broncos versus the offense of the Panthers, and I just see that Carolina pulling it out. I think that they have what it takes, and they've shown the past couple weeks that they can dominate a team. And then last week when they absolutely crushed Arizona, they showed that they have the ability to keep their foot on the pedal, and they just have fun doing it. It's a fun thing to watch. I do want to see, at the same time, Peyton Manning go out on top. I just don't think he will. It's kind of like one of those, I'm rooting for Peyton, but I'm not necessarily rooting for the Broncos. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Super Bowl pick.
Thanks a lot, Bill. That's all the time we have.
Wait, before we go, I want to make a little wager.
Okay.
The Super Bowl's on Sunday.
Yep.
You got the Broncos. I got the Panthers. Let's make a bet.
Okay.
What do you say?
How about this? This is good. If you win, I have to run around the Oreo in some sort of Patriots attire.
Oh, Brady jersey.
Yep. I'm a Jets fan. That's going to be horrible.
All right. And if you win, if the Broncos win,
you have to do it with some Giants attire.
Giants. Our producer, Reeves, is a big Giants fan. Yep. Reeves, you got a Giants jersey?
Oh, I do.
She's got an Eli Manning jersey.
Okay.
All right. It's a deal.
Let's do it.
May the best man win.
What a show that was. With that, we hope to see you next time to see how this wager plays out.
Go Panthers.
Go Broncos.
Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down.